as Sue just detailed some of the regulatory onslaught that has already arrived, right? And then you layer on top of that the fact that we've seen really the bridges to traditional banking, Silvergate, Signature having collapsed. There's a lot of challenges before we get to the bull part of this market that you're predicting.
Yeah, there absolutely are a lot of challenges here in the US specifically around crypto. I think that's what Sue was mentioning. You're seeing market makers like Jump and Jane Street either exit the crypto market in the US or move their operations offshore. There is a big regulatory crackdown here in the US. Abroad, there's a different story. There's a great deal of regulatory progress in Europe, a great deal of regulatory progress in the Middle East, in Hong Kong, and in Singapore. And that's part of what's keeping the crypto market afloat. But for sure, we're in a challenging period. Now, I think we will eventually exit this period with new rules, with clearer regulations, and that will contribute to this multi-year bull market that I'm talking about. But we have to go through this difficult period first before we get to the other side.
How long does that take? And you're right, we are seeing this sort of geographic force taking place, right? Hubs like Singapore, the renewed focus on the Middle East as well. Do we see a future where we see that industry kind of ring fence when it comes to certain markets?
Well, I have a great deal of confidence in the US eventually getting it right and adapting the rules we need to make sure that crypto thrives here, right? It is a massively disruptive technology. It's a fast growing market. We want it on our shores. So despite the challenges we're seeing at the regulatory level right now, I think there is a pathway forward, and there's some bipartisan support in Congress to get us there. So challenges, but we will work through them. How long will it take? I suspect we'll see 6 months, 9 months of volatility and chop. The big signal to me will be, can we get a piece of crypto legislation through this divided Congress this year? If we can achieve that, I think that will be the first green shoots that we are entering that period of regulatory clarity in the US. To me, it's a matter of when, not if, but there is volatility in the interim.
And Matt, some would say that could be an understatement. There is volatility. Let's talk about that bigger, difficult period you're talking about. You not only had crypto winter and then a rebound in crypto in the first quarter, but then you had these bank failures. And we should point out that these were the two biggest crypto banks. How does the fact that the crypto banks are an area of concern, and now Wall Street even investing in this asset class is an area of concern, affect your products, which expose people to crypto?
Yeah, well, I think it's important to have a little bit of context here. We have had banking blowups, we have had regulatory concerns, but on each of those measures, as well as any other fundamental measure of crypto, we're in a vastly better place than we were even 3 or 4 years ago. The banking infrastructure, even absent Silicon Valley Bank and Signature and Silvergate, is much better than it was in 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. So I still think, the trends are on our side. At Bitwise, we've been providing safe access to crypto investment products for more than 5 years. We've seen bull and bear markets before. As I mentioned, I think we're in a multi-year bull market. It's never easy to invest in crypto when it's fallen a lot. But historically, those are the periods when fortunes have been made. And if it sorts out the way I think it will, with regulatory progress, with technological progress, people could look back on this period, this volatile period, as a very exciting moment to get in, and we'll see.
Yeah, in fact, we're looking at one of your products, an ETF, that had a good performance in the first quarter, but your firm, unlike Binance and Coinbase, not under the regulatory spotlight. Can you comment at all on the predicament these firms are in? We know that Coinbase has said they'll use every penny they have to fight some of the crackdown that's coming their way.
Yeah, well, I think it's important to realize that the securities laws and the rules that have been established are not fit for purpose for the crypto industry, right? They don't work within blockchain. They don't work within crypto assets. So we need new rules and regulations. That's why Coinbase is willing to go to the mat and fight in the courts to force the regulators to come up with rules that will help this industry thrive. And I think we should all be rooting for that. After all, this is the best performing asset class in the world over the last 3, 5, and 10 years. It's one of the fastest growing industries in the technology space. There's a huge amount of venture capital and a huge amount of intellectual capacity moving into crypto. We should want rules that support that, and we don't have those right now. So that's why Coinbase is going to push for it. I think ultimately they'll be successful. They're asking for reasonable accommodations that will allow this industry to thrive. The same thing that the internet asked for in the 1990s.
Yep,
And that's
Matt.
why we got the internet boom here in the US and not in Europe. We want the same thing for the crypto boom
All right,
that's
Matt,
coming.
just wrapping up, I hear you on the good stuff. What's the wild card in 10 seconds? What's the wild card in your view for your industry right now?
Sure. The extreme risk, the left tail, would be a very harsh regulatory crackdown and no changes or adaptations to the rule. Every investment has risk and opportunity. They're both in crypto, and we'll see how it turns out.